Today, we've got an incredible story for you. It's about how one single dream, born out of some really tough circumstances, can change, well, everything. Not just for one person, but for a whole community. This is the story of the peanut seller who built a school.
So, let's start with a big question. Can a single dream actually change the world? It's so easy to say no, right? But the story we're about to dive into, it suggests the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And it all starts with one young boy. So let's go there. We're in a small, dusty village, and this is where we meet Armand. He and his mother live in a tiny mud house, and to put it simply, they're the poorest family around. His whole world, from the very beginning, was just a struggle. I mean, look at this contrast. It really says it all. Every single morning, he would watch the other kids heading to school, with their bags full of books. But for Armand, his reality was a basket of peanuts he had to sell. While they were filling their minds in a classroom, he was often just trying to fill an empty stomach. His dream was so simple, really. He just wanted to trade one for the other. And this is the question that set everything in motion. One night, they're sitting by this little oil lamp, and he just asks his mother so simply, "Emmy, can I go to school one day?" It sounds like just a wish, but it was so much more. It was the first time he said his deepest, most burning desire out loud.
And this is where his resolve just hardens into steel. His mother, with tears in her eyes, explained that they just couldn't afford it. But Armand, he didn't give up. Not all. Instead, he made a decision right then and there. If an opportunity wasn't going to be given to him, well, he was going to find a way to make one for himself. And he didn't waste any time. That decision immediately turned into action. He found his own way to get an education, basically creating a classroom for himself where none existed. And let me tell you, it was unconventional. And it was really, really hard.
This just shows you his raw determination, right? While he was out selling peanuts, he'd just stand outside the school window trying to absorb every single word the teacher said. He learned letter by letter, sound by sound. And the whole time, he had to put up with the other students making fun of him. All of that just for the chance to learn.
In every great story, there's a turning point. A moment where all that struggle is finally met with a little bit of kindness. For Armand, that moment came when his quiet, relentless persistence was finally noticed by exactly the right person. So the school teacher, who had seen Armand standing outside that window day after day, finally came out, and he asked him this one direct question. Can you just imagine being Armand in that moment, so nervous, but also seeing that first little glimmer of actual hope? And his reply, wow. It was everything. With his eyes just sparkling, he said, "Yes, sir, more than anything." And that was enough. That conviction was all the teacher needed to see. He offered to teach Armand every single evening, completely for free. I mean, this is so crucial, isn't it? Armand's determination was the spark, but this teacher's kindness, that was the fuel that finally let the fire really burn bright. This timeline really puts his whole journey into perspective. This was not an overnight success story. For 6 years, from age 10 all the way to 16, he spent his evenings hitting the books after a full day of selling peanuts. All of that hard work led to his one single shot at a scholarship, which led to a career as an engineer and, eventually, his return home. Okay, so let's zoom in on that scholarship exam. This was the key, the door to everything else. It was this huge government exam, incredibly tough, and he was up against students from these big, well-funded schools. For Armand, this was it, his one and only chance to make his education official and change his life for good. The night before the test, you can just imagine the pressure. It must have been immense. But his mother, she gave him the one thing he needed most. She told him, "My son, no matter what happens tomorrow, I am proud of you." Her words weren't about winning or losing. They were about being proud of his effort. That was the emotional fuel he needed to carry him through. And then, results day. This is like a scene from a movie, the climax of his young life. The entire village, all his supporters, and probably a few doubters too, they all gathered around the school's notice board, and Armand had to push his way through the crowd, his heart just pounding in his chest, to look for his name. And there it was, at the very, very top of the list. He didn't just pass, he wasn't just selected, he had secured the #1 spot. First position. The peanut seller who learned through a window had outperformed every single other student. What a moment of just pure, unbelievable triumph. From that day on, his life completely changed. The scholarship paid for him to go to college in the city. He worked incredibly hard, became an engineer. But you know what? The story doesn't stop there with his own personal success. It ends with a promise he made to himself and a powerful example of paying it forward.
He never forgot where he came from. He took that one opportunity given to him by one kind teacher, and he multiplied it. He used it to create an opportunity for thousands. He came back to his village and he built a brand new school, making sure that no other child would ever have to learn from the shadows again.
On the day the school opened, he stood up in front of a whole new generation of students, and he shared the core lesson of his entire life. Your circumstances do not decide your future. Your determination does. It's such a powerful reminder, right? It's not about where you start. It's about the will you have to change your own story, and maybe, in the process, rewrite the story for everyone else too.
So, as we wrap this up, Armin's story leaves us with a question. His dream, made bigger by one act of kindness, created this incredible legacy. It really makes you think, doesn't it?